Hi there, Pisces. Welcome to your July 2022 Astro Update. It's Raina here. So I'm a little bit late. It's the second when I'm recording this, but luckily, um, the major transits for the month of July don't start until the 5th. So I'm actually not late at all. The first few weeks of the month, the sun is in fellow water sign Cancer. So this forms a trine to Pisces sun and rising, and it's coming from the fifth house. That is so amazing because the sun rules the fifth house in the sign of Leo in the universal chart. So the sun is at home in the fifth. And if you know, and I'm sure a lot of Pisces know this about the tarot, the sun card, number 19, is connected to just about everything positive. Love, creativity, abundance, children, success, joy. And this is kind of similar to what you would expect from fifth house transits. So on the 5th of July, Mars goes into Taurus, and that forms a friendly angle too, which is called a sextile. I hope I said that the sun trines Pisces and didn't say a sextile for that. But both of these are friendly angles, and what it basically means is that the energy between the two planets is very cooperative. You know, when you have a square in opposition, it's like a challenging aspect. So things feel like you have a lot of resistance trying to make them happen, and you have to keep pushing. Sometimes you have to try so much harder. But I do want to note that sometimes this is exactly what you probably need to do, is to push something through. Like, as some people expect life to just drop in their lap and all these good things to just drop in their lap. And to me, that's not realistic, but that's also not necessarily desirable, because when people are really putting energy into something and then they get what they manifest what they have worked for, it's a very satisfying feeling. And I believe in the law of attraction like the next person, but I also think that it's not about having things just drop in your lap. Sometimes maybe, because there might be things that you don't want to have to work so hard over, but just constant expectations in that area can lead to a lot of disillusionment, where people just give up and they say, "Oh, this isn't just happening right away, so I'm just going to give up." And no, sometimes, the more energy you put into something, the greater the payoff. Not all the times, obviously, but sometimes it does work out that way. So the point is that you may be feeling a sense of wanting to do something. You have a strong desire for it. That can be Mars as well. And this might have some intellectual bent to it, because the third house is the house of the mind. If you are a writer, you may be on a writing streak, or maybe there's something with siblings, like some kind of like little bit of a kerfluffle, and kerfuffle. I can't say kerfluffle, or neighbors, or other family members like aunts, uncles, cousins. There may be some aggression somehow in there. And you can always, now that you know this, that this is transing that house, you can choose to stay above the fray, because somebody may be trying to get you to lower yourself and to fight with them. Takes two to fight. You don't have to go there. And on the same day, the 5th of July, Mercury goes into Cancer. And that is that house that I was just talking about. In other words, the 6th house. I mean, the 5th house. And the 5th house being the house of creativity and love, you may be talking to somebody that you are really into and feeling a certain maybe mental rapport with that person. Maybe you are, the 5th house is a house of pleasure. So maybe you're doing some pleasurable activities that involve either, some form of communication. An example of this would be going to a play or plays. If you are the kind of Pisces individual who is interested in acting, even if it's not professional, you may be, thinking or actually joining some kind of dramatic troupe. This could be a writing project. The 5th house can be the business that you own, so maybe you're doing something along those lines that connect to that. But you could be talking to a potential partner. Remember that the 5th house is the love house, but it's also like the dating. It's that, to me, it can be those initial stages sometimes. And then on the 13th, we have a full moon at 21 degrees of Capricorn. This is coming from your 11th house. It's a sextile, friendly angle. And this might be some kind of dream of yours coming true, something that you've, been working at for a long time. This can be the house of long-range goals. But eventually, when you have long-range goals, it might be far off in the future when you set those intentions, but eventually, if it's time, they'll bear fruit in the harvest time. So this full moon in Capricorn, and this is also a supermoon, so it's supposed to be more potent. That might be something that is working out for you. This is, Capricorn is about career, so this is a house of gains, the 11th house, so it might have some financial angle. On the 17th, and I should mention too that sometimes full moons in the 11th can bring awareness about a friend. Maybe you haven't heard from a friend in a long time and you can't get a hold of them, and then you find out some news about them. Or you decide to end your friendship with somebody or some group association that you have because maybe you're not on the same page for some reason anymore. On the 17th, Venus goes into Cancer. There is that house again. The 5th house. Venus is romantic, isn't it? So Venus in the 5th, and it's also artsy. Appreciating art. So definitely, if you're not creating art, Pisces, which is going to be a big if because you are the type who like to create art. But if you're not doing so, then you might be taking pleasure in it. And yeah, so that's happening. On the 19th, Mercury goes into Leo. But also I wanted to say about Venus in that 5th house can be some kind of romance. Maybe when Mercury is there, you're talking, maybe you meet online, I don't know. And then now it's time to meet in person. On the 19th, Mercury goes into Leo. And now we are starting for Pisces to see 6th house transits. It's more serious, or at least down to brass tacks. I'm saying serious because the fifth house is about fun and games, Sixth house is about work and health. Um, and what could be happening here? Let's see. If you're trying to improve your diet, Mercury may have you thinking, but also researching, reading books on this area, but health in general, sixth house. Could be talking to people, to like employers or, things. There might be negotiations. The sun comes into the sixth on the 22nd, and we have a new moon here. You have a new moon here on the 28th at 5 degrees of Leo. Oh, I just realized I forgot to tell the prior sign about Jupiter going retrograde on the same day that the new moon is in your sixth house. On the 28th of July, Jupiter goes retrograde at 8 degrees 43 minutes of Aries. This is in your second house, Pisces. So, Jupiter is your ancient ruler, so you have an affinity with Jupiter. But this internalizes your values. So if money is something, and I think it will be featured for you in the upcoming year because of the Jupiter transit here, this may be something that you're having to balance against your inner values. Just kind of what I was talking about earlier. Because one thing that will be occurring is that, when you have that full moon in Capricorn in the 11th house, I told you that that's the house of gains. So you may get a raise, or it might just be money that is coming to you. Maybe it's some kind of commission, or maybe it's not like this regular source of money. I don't know. But whether it's a bonus, a commission, a raise, you may be looking at this issue of money and work and career choices at a deeper level as Jupiter goes retrograde for a few months until November. So sometimes they'll say that if Jupiter goes retrograde and you're ruled by Jupiter, and I would say Pisces is in a sense, but in any case that, it might affect you more, and especially if it's in this house where it's a earth house and it's tangible. This is the house that Taurus rules in the universal chart. So it's about tangible things like cold hard cash. There might even be a lessening of it. I know when I've had Jupiter, because I'm a sun in Sagittarius, so Jupiter is a ruler of Sag. So even with the sun sign, it really can be something that you are aligned with or connected with on some level, who your ruler is. So I know that when it's hitting my career sector, my money sector, that sometimes I have felt like it's been a slowdown. But it does pick up and you notice it, you know what I mean? And so the point is that it's asking you to go within. It's hard to go within when everything is hunky-dory, because you find no reason to. If you're raking it in, there has to be something that gives a person pause so that they can really question whether or not they're on the right track. But it may not, actually Jupiter is such a positive influence that even when it's retrograde, it can provide opportunities for you. So don't assume that that's going to be true for you. It might still be really a situation of abundance, and you might be able to take advantage of Jupiter's blessings that you couldn't take advantage of in the past. Okay, well, that's what I have for you, Pisces. I hope that resonates. If you would like a personal reading, I'm promoting my double readings, like my deep dive reading, because both of these double readings are at special price because you're buying 2 full-length readings at once. So I'm giving a pretty substantial discount. I think it's at least $35 that you save, maybe more. I can't remember, but something along those. And the point being that it might be like, I don't know, maybe it's like $28, something like that. But the point is that the deep dive reading is an hour of natal chart analysis and an hour of transits. And the whole enchilada is an hour of natal analysis and a full-length tarot reading. Both of these readings, sets of readings, are more substantial than just like a 1-hour reading. So if you're interested in either of those readings or any of my other readings, please click on the link below. And thank you for listening. I hope you have a great July. Take care. Bye.